Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 19th, 2023 SID meeting. If you'll give us just a few more minutes, we'll get started. In the meantime, I'll use that same time to have our moment of silence as well. Okay, let's go ahead then with our routine meeting. We do have an issue to approve the agenda, but right now we may have some modifications to it. Tony, I thought you had, you have changed your mind?
Yeah, we have.
Our earlier discussion went south, so I'm going to ask for an approval of the agenda by the commissioners.
Okay, aye.
I second it.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by Susan Jett, seconded by David Nebel. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there anyone opposed? Motion carries. We've all had the opportunity to review the minutes from the May 15th meeting. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve those minutes as we move forward.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Motion has been made by Susan Jett to approve the minutes as they're written. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. David Nebel. Any discussion on these minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Minutes are approved. This time we have a couple of things where the property owners may want to address the commission. If you please state your name, where you live, and limit your comments to about 3 minutes. We'll entertain that at this point. Yes, ma'am. Come on up to this microphone, please. And state your name and where you live.
My name is Michelle Dugan.
Who?
I live at...
What's your name?
Michelle Dugan. I live at 59 Cherokee Drive. I just wanted to express my concerns about allowing people to go for walks along the golf course. I think that's a huge liability for Sid and Cherokee Village. And I am totally against that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional property owner comments at this time? That was one of our property owner comments. All right, let's then go to... Please come up to the microphone and...
Are you going to?
Please state your name and your address.
Mark Thompson, 5 Tohatchee Drive. And if this is the time, I didn't know if you were going to talk and give information on what you're trying to present for the walkers, or if we're going to talk about our concerns now. So, whichever, if you're going to give information, and then we can talk later, I got more information why walkers are not allowed on golf courses pretty much on 99% or more golf courses around the United States. You know, who's going to take the responsibility, the liability, if someone's hit? Who's going to educate the walkers on how you walk around the golf course? Because there is a flow. If you come around a certain direction this way, and people are hitting this way, it's a much bigger probability of someone being hit. So are they going to get any educating on how to do this? Are they going to walk on the golf course or just the trails? If they walk on the trails, is there any fee for doing that? Golfers pay a fee to use those golf carts. Next, you know, what is the need for this? When I see the roads around our golf courses, they're very slow traffic in most areas, easily walkable. Where I walk, I live on the golf course, but I don't walk on the golf course. I walk on the roads because it's quiet, easy to do. So I don't see a need for it in the first place. Let's see if I have anything else here I can cover. I think that's most of it.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you.
Are there any additional property owner comments at this time? If not, let's go ahead and go to old business. The first order is bulk lot sales.
I believe we tabled that too. So we got through our bylaws. We said just keep it on schedule. We haven't really done it. We haven't got our committee together.
No committee has been formed for bulk lot sales at this time, as we presented in the May meeting. So we'll ask to defer that once again
David and Tony,
to the July meeting.
they agreed to.
I know that puts some of our realtors in a bit of a bind because they had asked for what our thoughts are, but I don't believe at this time we're ready.
So,
Did I miss something there, Susan?
Sir,
Joe,
what?
did I miss anything from your
Well, I believe
perspective?
that David and Tony have already agreed to work on bulk lot sales. I mean, I can go back and review the meetings, but back in April, we had that discussion, and we were busy with bylaws, and kept it on the schedule. And I know we've been busy with stuff this month, but I believe that Tony and David Nebel were going to spearhead that process.
But we didn't say we
We have-
spearheaded. We made a motion. We made a motion to form a committee,
To talk about it.
but we didn't decide who was
So
going
you're
to
not?
form that. Well, I didn't say that. I'm just saying we still need to decide who needs to head up
Well,
this
here while we're in
committee.
old business, can
I mean, it's,
because we need a couple of y'all to talk with the real estate agents and the
Okay.
Tri-County Board of Realtors, and I really thought, and I can go back and
Well,
look at my notes.
David's thing last time was to, let's get through the bylaws first before we start
Right,
getting
and
into
we
bulk
got,
lot
we got
sales.
through the first section,
But we haven't got
voting.
through all the bylaws yet, so.
No, we have a whole 3-ring binder of
Right,
bylaws,
so,
but we have pressing issues with bulk sales questions.
May I offer to help? Is there something that I can help to do, whether it be a place for y'all to meet or an invitation to get a committee together? I mean, if I can assist in getting the ball rolling with a place and a time and all of that, I'll be glad to help. Just
Well,
let
we
me
can-
know what I can do.
okay, well, I'll call you and we'll get with that. but
Okay,
after-
so-
In the 1st of July sometime.
After the 1st of July?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony, you're gonna, David, are you gonna work with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you describe what the issue is? I mean, this is my first meeting, I don't know.
Yes.
Uh,
Ron, go ahead, tell him what the issue is with bulk lot sales. You've asked the question, it's a fair one.
Yeah, I'm just curious, this is my first meeting, and I'm not sure what this topic is even about. So do you mind just giving us an quick overview of what the self-block issue or question is?
Yes, sir. In the past, we had individuals who would want to obtain bulk lots, some 2 or 3, some 5, some 500, because of the numbers of lots that we have available within Cherokee Village that are not built upon but available. And we need a better policy. We have a particularly reasonable policy for a single lot, but multiple lots is something that we've been concerned about for a while. Personally, I have talked to a number of attorneys who supposedly focus on lot sales, and no real help there, just doing some research. I haven't done that for about 2 months. I did try to find one who appropriately worked with the Commissioner of State Lands. It didn't really do anything but confuse me a little bit more, where the laws are pretty detailed. So that's why Mr. Smith and Mr. Nebel had volunteered at one point to do a little more research, deep dive research with some of our realtors and the Tri-County Board of Realtors. Does that help?
It does help. Are these lots that Sid owns, that
Yes.
we own as a community, or?
We
Sid.
can- Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's what Sid owns.
Yeah, okay.
It's not, there was a difference. You got the state that
Right.
has lots,
Give David Nichol
and then
pull
there's
his
the lots that have
microphone forward.
reverted back to Sid.
Please, pull your microphone forward.
I think I could answer this in a nutshell.
Right.
And like most things, if you buy in bulk, they're wanting a discount. So they set a policy for a single lot, and now they're wanting to talk about if you buy multiple lots, what would the price of those lots look like?
And is there a list of these lots available?
There's not.
No,
There's not. We can talk about that.
Okay.
not because we don't want to have a list, it's just a,
I got you. No, that's fine.
We can talk about that.
So I'll call you after the 4th there, to get to these
Okay.
holidays.
No
And
problem.
we'll see about, oh, I'm sorry, we'll see if we can get some place to meet and see who all we can invite. A
Sure.
list of people to invite, to see if we can get something started.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay.
thank you.
Let's move on to the next. If there are no other discussions regarding the bulk lot sale issue. We have an update on golf course rules. Mr. Eagle, can you take us through that, sir?
Again, this is just a follow-up from the last meeting. Y'all asked me to insert the handicapped for the 15 feet to the back of the green. So that's all this is a change from everything that's been discussed. But those are the changes that are in here today. In picking up poop.
And we're voting on this today too, right?
Correct. I understood that you gave me your corrections at the last meeting to come back for it to be signed.
Right. Okay, here we go. Rules and regulations for Cherokee Village golf courses. 1, all golfers must register in the golf shop before commencing play and present their property owner's card upon request. 2, cart path rules for the day will be posted in the golf shop and at number 1 and number 10 tee boxes. 3, players must begin play on number 1. To begin play on any other hole must be approved by the golf shop. 4, carts should remain 50 feet from the green and not go beyond that boundary. Signage should direct players when to return to the cart path. Handicap players with appropriate handicap signage is 15 feet. Foursomes have precedence over singles and twosomes. Players are encouraged to allow faster players the opportunity to play through. On busy days, the golf shop reserves the right to pair players or groups to form threesomes or foursomes. 6, golfers must wear appropriate attire on the golf course and driving range. T-shirts, tank tops, sport bras are not acceptable attire. Proper length shorts are required for all golfers. No short gym shorts or skirts. If you're unsure about the attire, please check with the golf shop. 7. Bicycles may be allowed on the course as long as they maintain proper pace of play with other groups. 8. Each player must have their own set of clubs. 9. No more than 2 players are permitted on a SID rental card. Rental card operators must be of 18 years of age and possess a valid driver's license. 10. Golfers shall not use greens, bunkers, fairways, or tee boxes for practice purposes. 11. Individuals using the courses for walking, exercising a pet must do so prior to the course opening or after the course is closed. Cleanup behind your pets is required. 12. Golf carts, SID designated equipment, and emergency vehicles are the only vehicles permitted to be operated on the golf courses. Unauthorized vehicles should be classified as trespassing and subject to prosecution. Individuals in violation of course rules and regulations will be notified and requested to comply. Failure to comply will result in penalties being assessed as follows. First offense, verbal warning. Second offense, warning letter. Third offense, suspension of golf playing privileges for 3 days. A suspension may be appealed to the SID Board of Commissioners. The general manager will establish a time and date for the appeal hearing. The imposition of the penalty will be postponed pending the outcome of the appeal hearing. The SID Board of Commissioners reserves the right to impose additional penalties as related to the degree of violation. Mouthful.
Thank you, David. Any additional discussion? Tony?
I'm just gonna say that, with the exception of number 11, I think they're all, the rest of it's fine. I'm still not in favor of those walking on the course. I'm not in favor of dogs being out there, which is why if we're gonna let them do it, they better clean up behind them. That's why I requested that to be in there, to be required. But when we say course opening and course close, we're talking about the hours of the pro shop. Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
Correct. But people could still be, no, okay. But people could still be out there playing after the pro shop closes, right? And that still creates a problem and a liability, I think, to us. And which is why I'm not for people being out there walking as long as there's golfers out on the course.
But you had no objection
Well, I did before, and I said, but
on
there.
May 15th.
I did before. I did argue against it before.
You seconded the motion to accept them as they were.
Yeah, okay.
I
but now
think this was
it's-
a compromise, Tony, because
I know.
it was a compromise on that.
It was a compromise, but I'm just stating my position still on it is I'm not in favor of that being happened.
We've had 2 individuals, Red, if you will, talk about not wanting any animals or walkers on the golf course for the reasons of safety and liability to CBSID. However, at this point, when I went out there as a commissioner and watched people, we had so few on the North Golf Course that it really appeared to me that those individuals who were walking, not with their pets, I've had a few discussions with them when they were walking their pets, but those individuals were also golfers and understood the rules and understood what they were doing. They had also attempted to check in with the pro shop, but the pro shop at that point, when they were walking, this is at 6 in the morning, was not open. So this is a compromise, Tony. I know we have people who do not want anyone except golfers on the golf course. That would be interesting because I know of people who have come to me who have walked on the golf course in the early morning for more than 40 years here. I don't think they harm anything, and I don't think they go very far. We have on the South Golf Course one dog that thinks he owns the course. I don't know who he belongs to. We don't catch him. I don't know who feeds him, but he comes out and he helps us golf. It's a strange
A
situation.
little corgi? A little corgi?
Yeah.
I think he's gone.
Is he gone?
2 years ago.
No.
Well, it's been since before COVID that I recall, and I know we had a good time with that puppy dog, and he didn't appear to hurt what we were doing to get in our way. So,
I understand. I'm just saying, I accept what we agreed to from the golf committee. They brought this to us, I agreed to it, and I asked about the cleaning up as a compromise. But I'm just still stating my stance, as I did before when we first started it, that I think that we should not have walkers on the course, but we compromised on that. So just state my point on that.
thank you, Tony, I appreciate that.
I make a motion we accept the rules as read.
We already,
I think we
Motion has
already-
been made by Mr. Legal to accept the rules as he read them. Is there a second?
we don't need to. We accepted them with the changes that Betsy made at the May meeting. This is just a reading of the corrections. We've already accepted them.
According to the Arkansas Municipal League, we still need to go back and revote
With the changes.
with the changes that were made. And we follow the Arkansas Municipal League rules as opposed to what we might consider Robert's Rules of Order.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
If you could hold down until the end, we'll readdress this.
I'm already going to vote on what I have a question on.
She has a question on that.
Yes, ma'am, please address the mic then. Please come and address the mic.
Okay. Who, if I'm out there golfing at 7 o'clock at night, and I'm teeing up my ball, and there's somebody walking toward me, and I hit that person, who is liable? If you've given permission to people to be out on the golf course that I pay high fees to play, and they're not paying anything, who is liable?
They do pay because they pay their SID assessment. They call it-
Everybody pays.
Hold your comments.
Sir, everybody pays it. I pay way more.
Hold your comments, John.
Okay? We all pay SID fees, that's to use amenities. That doesn't mean I can jump over the fence at the pool and go swimming with my little heart desires, does it? No.
Well,
And
first-
people don't need to be walking on the golf course.
First off, at 7 at night, the course is closed. So
People don't have to have carts back till 7:30, especially in the summer when it's light until 8:30. And I might be out there playing as a member, as a paid member. I can go out there and play whether the pro shop's open or not. Who's liable if I hit somebody?
You said you have to have them in by 7:30?
I think
Now,
that's
what
what the
time
pro
did you-
shop rule is. I
What-
have my
We do
own
it
card.
at 7:30.
I pay for my own
Starts
card.
out
That's your doing at
If you
7:30?
rent a cart from us, it has to be in by 7:30 now because of the
Right.
extended
Okay,
daylight.
7:30. Okay, here's one thing. Rule number 1 on here. All golfers must register in the pro shop before commencing play.
I do. Well, what if I start at 5 o'clock or 6? Like I'm going to go after this meeting tonight and I'm going to play. The pro shop's still open. I'll sign in, but they won't be there when I'm done. So who's liable if I hit somebody walking? What does your attorney say?
Both. That's what our attorney says, is both. Sid and the person who hit the ball could be held liable.
I shouldn't have to be liable to hit somebody that has no, that shouldn't be on the golf course. I pay a lot of money to be out there to play. I've been doing this since we moved here 16 years ago. And I already have to watch for golfers or walkers that are walking right
Thank you very much, Michelle. Question of liability has been addressed to the commissioners. David, I think you were very clear. We were looking for the golfers to register. I've also requested people who are walking on the course to make sure they've registered because they are on the course legally or illegally, as some people would like to believe. I do not know if they do that or not, because I do not insult them, because most of the time I do not see a single golfer while they're walking. Again, it's early in the morning when I'm out there on the north course, not the south. I don't know about the south. So we may have to look into that.
If you open it up, there's going to be more people walking on the golf course. You know that, right? If
We
you
will.
tell everybody in the village, hey, walking's allowed on the golf course, who's going to patrol that? Who's going to give, what are they going to lose if they're out there walking when they shouldn't be? We, the golfers, get penalized by not being able to play for 3 days. What's going to happen to these people that are breaking the rules that are walkers?
Yes,
They can be cited for trespass.
That's if they register, you know they are.
And to be honest, my concern isn't your morning walk, it's before the course.
Thank you,
Somebody's
John.
walking at 6:30. It's not really a concern, but at 6, 7 o'clock, there are players out there, and they have registered, but they're continuing their 3-4 hours of play. So they can be out there till close to dark.
I believe that you've made your point, and we do not have what some golf courses have, which is a marshal to patrol the south course or the north course, nor do we have the funds, truthfully, to hire a full-time person to drive around the courses. We have golfers who are very kind, who have explained to people that they run the risk of getting hit. I know I've seen and witnessed that in the past, where they did not understand the rules of the golf. They just thought, what a wonderful place to walk or take my dog. And we've had that discussion before I became a commissioner, and I felt that I was an ambassador for the golf courses. So I will continue to ride my cart around at odd times if that would be acceptable as a solution. And if you have people who are interfering and you let the commissioners know, I know that we can take appropriate action with those walkers who are either walking their dog, who have not, if you will, talked to the pro shop to be legally on the course at all, which I know we have that problem as well.
Nabby recognized? Nabby recognized.
Tony.
Well, we've talked, like I said, we talked about,
Okay.
okay. Can I speak, please? Can I speak? I'm gonna have to agree with what they're saying. We talked about it before, and we made that point that if we don't say there could be no walkers and a walker gets hit, then we're held liable, along with the golfers, she says. We and the golfer are held liable. And I don't think we should be taking that risk of getting a lawsuit against us. It just could happen one time. It just could happen one time, and one walker gets out there at 7 o'clock at night. They don't have to be in until after 7:30 or around 7:30, like they said. And that walker gets hit. That's one medical expense that we're going to have to end up paying. And we don't know we don't know how high those expenses could end up being. And I just think that as long as there's a liability, as long as there's a safety issue, that we should not let walkers or pets or anybody else on the courses while there's golfers. I'm just going to have to say that's what I feel about it. And if we're going to go with these rules, I'm going to have to vote no again on.
Well, our problem is enforcing.
Well, I agree. I mean, we can't enforce it, but if we say no walkers and there's a walker gets on there and they get hit, now it's on the walker for trespassing and getting hit by a ball. It's not on the golfer, and it's not on Sid, who said, oh, sure, it's fine to walk. You said it was fine to walk, now I got hit, now I'm hurt, and I want you to pay for it. If we tell them, no, you can't, and they go out and they walk, which they probably will anyway, they get hit, well, now it's on them because they trespass. We don't pay for the medical expenses. The golfers don't pay for the medical expenses, and they did it at their own risk. So that's my opinion on that.
Maybe since strollers, I've seen.
You know, if you played the North Course and you said you did, you know that we have people who are in their canoes, if you will, their floaties, who come down from north all the way across number 10 and number 18, even though we have requested that they not do that in the past. Again, that was when I was on the golf committee. I'm not anymore on that golf committee, but that's no different than the walkers. So that means we would have to stop the people from using any of their floating devices except from the spot on the bridge where we requested it in the past. I'm not saying I did, but I know the former commissioners have done that.
So we own the Spring River here? We own that?
We do
South
not.
Okay, then we're not liable.
Yeah. I don't see that as being the same.
I think you need to talk to the attorneys more before you vote on this, as this is a huge liability. Sid already had one huge lawsuit that affected us horribly. You don't need another.
David? Any more comments, sir?
Like I said, this is a compromise. Personally, myself, I'm against walkers on the course too, but this was a compromise that we had come to.
Susan?
I feel the same way, but we all have.
Can't you say walk at your own risk? Can't you
No.
say that? Can't you put that sign up and say walk at your own risk?
Still think you're getting into some, you say,
Why can't you just say walk in the morning,
Well, we have done that.
but not at night?
well, what we were talking about before, there's no, who's going to enforce it? I mean, if you go walking out there when there's no golfers, there's nobody around to tell you not to do it. I'm just saying, as long as we say you can't walk on there, and there's golfers out there, and someone gets hit, then we're not held liable. And that's what my concern is that I don't want Sid to be held liable for something that, like someone getting hit.
I have no idea what she said.
No walk, she's saying, why can't we put a sign that says no walking allowed, walk at your own risk?
We already have several signs that talk about trespassing. I don't know if you've noticed those or not, but I've had people ask me, well, what does trespassing really mean? Pretty easy solution. Means you're not allowed in this area without permission.
Mr. P.E.G., may I address?
Please address,
I think you can hear me from here,
please. Yes,
but I will go use your microphone.
That way it's recorded.
that was,
Turn it back on, Russ. Turn it off.
You did that?
Yeah. Put the button on the top. Okay.
It was on. Russ Stokes, Oneida Circle. In reference, I was on the golf committee that helped draw up those rules and regulations. In reference to the liability question Mrs. Dugan raised, a very simple answer to that is you need to post those rules and regulations and signage on the golf course at every egress that you have so people are aware of it. Thus, somebody violates that. Plus, I also put on that signage about that you're guilty of trespassing after or before those out, after the, well, whatever it says there, about the hours of operation or the hours available for walking. You know, the problem that we're dealing with here is this has been allowed to go on for so long, and people have grown accustomed to it. But you need to have signage up. That way, that will take you out of the liability question. You, as the operators of the golf courses, won't be liable. Person will be there, and because that's happened before. If you don't have it where people can see it visibly, in great big bold letters, then you could be in difficulty if someone gets injured.
Okay.
You know, fortunately, a lot of courses have fencing that helps keep people out. It's going to be too expensive to do that around here, but my simple suggestion would be to post the rules and highlight the particular rule that you're concerned about regarding the walkers. And then, having been in the school business, if something arises, you have to make an example sometimes. And that's the other thing. Once the word gets out, then some of that will cease to continue.
Thank you, Russ.
Could I ask a question on that? So, are you saying that, kind of what I was just saying, that if we, as long as we say you can't walk, we're not liable? Is that the point you're making?
No, if you adopt those rules, you're allowed them to walk before the course opens and after the course closes. During that time, we're not supposed to walk. I mean, that's still out of the rules.
Right.
So, if you post that, and something happens to some individual, they get hit, as she said, if she hits somebody with a golf ball.
Well, what about after, like they said, 7 o'clock at night,
Well,
the golf shop, the pro shop is closed, and then that's
that may
something.
depend on the judge, but if you live on the golf course, you can expect maybe a ball to come in and break a window.
Yeah.
If you walk out on the golf course, you're doing it at your risk, and you expect to get hurt. You know, you can't make excuses for people doing stupid stuff.
Right. But then again, I can't say it's okay to walk on the golf course either, at all, should I?
Before and after, that's what you're saying.
Well, what is that after? I guess that's the big key. What is after? After 7:30 or after 6 o'clock? But that's what that's their point right there is at 7 o'clock, they can still be out on the golf course playing.
But that's getting back to what I said about somebody walking out there in the middle of the fairway when they're playing golf.
Yeah, well, golfers.
Duh.
Yeah, golfers already know that. But someone that's just walking.
That's dumb.
So if you're playing golf in front of me and I hit you with a golf ball, who's liable for your medical expense?
Well, if we're both out there playing?
Yeah. Is Sid liable?
You'll sign a waiver of liability with your membership and guest sign it at the course.
Courts and rules.
Okay, there you go.
Where you can hit the two players and one guy hits the other one.
Right. But if you're just a walker out there doing it, who's liable if we say it's okay to walk on the golf course? After hours, or after the pro shop closes. Who's liable then?
If they're out there walking where they shouldn't be, unless you want to specify a walk on the cart path only,
Yeah.
put that in there, then that'll keep them off the fairways and the rough.
I hit the golf path a lot. I'm not that good a golfer, so. But I'll do my best.
I've been involved in a situation where the ball came flying up and broke out, hit an individual, broke out a patio door. Said,
Well,
you're responsible for breaking out the door. No, your home's on the golf course, you have to expect those kind of accidents to happen.
right.
Checking your homeowner's insurance.
Okay. But that's something that you've done legally. So, but just to walk on the golf course, and it's 7 o'clock at night, they don't have to be until 7:30. The pro shop's closed. They go out on the golf course walking around it. One of them hits the ball, hits the person coming at
They
it.
made a bad decision if they're walking out there.
Well, I agree, but who's liable for the medical expenses?
They had nothing important to decide.
I know, but if I say you can't do it at all, then I know I'm not responsible, right? Is that my?
If you see them out there, everybody should be at the ball over.
I know people that still do it. I mean, and they're longtime residents that told me that they see people out there, they hit the ball anyway, because they're not supposed to be out there, he says. So,
As long as you put up signage, you'll be protected.
okay.
Hi, my name is Mark Easley, East Lakeshore Drive. I've got actually a fundamental question to ask, just kind of fundamentally. Before I've heard a lot of talk about when the course is open, or the pro shop is open. I think they'll say that's when the course is open. And I think that's a false narrative because, again, as a golfer that pays annual dues, even though I don't live on the course, I keep a cart there to the south, a cart here at the north. Everyone that pays to have their cart stored at the course has a key or a combination to get into to their cart any time of the day, 24-hour access. And so I've never had anybody tell me that I couldn't come out at the crack of dawn, unlock the gate or unlock the boat and get my cart out and hit the course, even though nobody's at the pro shop to check in. Now, when I make the turn or come check-in time, yes, I'll go in and log that I was playing. But there's nowhere that I'm aware of where it says the course is only open from the course, not the shop. The course is only open from this time in the morning till this time of night, and any time after that it's closed. Not just for walkers, but for golfers. There's nothing like that that's been discussed. So, and I'm not proposing that we should, have a course closure. But I can even imagine for those that are on the course, or even myself, I had a company come in and late in the evening, and I said, hey, there's not going to be many golfers out there. You want to see the course? Here, I'll take you out there. Pro shop's already closed. I'll get the cart out. We'll just ride around, and I'll show you kind of what the Cherokee Village is about. There would be nothing wrong with me doing that. Because I pay a trail fee, I pay an annual golf fee, I pay for a cart to be stored there. So I just feel like there needs to be a lot more thought put into the time frame. If you allow walkers, okay, there has to be a time frame where the course is closed to golfers to allow those walkers to allow that type of activity out there. Mingling the two, I think, is necessary.
Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Engels. I live in Fulton County, Cherokee Village. Myself, like a lot of people here, know that the golf course has been the suburban improvement district's golden calf. And it has been the only thing that was funded for a very, very long time until we have had P.E.G on the board. That being said, even the thought of saying that someone should be issued a trespassing ticket for something that they paid for, and they did. They paid for those dues, even though they didn't go to sit, they paid them. If you've got a little old gal out there that's had a knee operation or a back operation, and that's the closest place that they have to walk, then you should, out of respect, let them. They are a card-carrying member of this community, and they've paid their dues. They should have had by now other things developed, trails and such things. And let me one time just ask the board, can you remember at any point since Cherokee Village has been here that anybody has been hit in the head with a golf ball?
One time.
There was, how this discussion first started is there was a veiled threat to a woman that if she walked out and she walked on that path, she would get hit with a golf ball. It was a veiled threat. I can't condone that. And I honestly think that most of the people that golf, because they've been living here long enough and doing it long enough, and I probably want to say 90% of those people can manage to, not hit somebody walking. I'm gonna say,
I've never seen
really,
any golf.
hold your comments.
So just because it hasn't happened yet, I would suggest that the board, if you haven't already, get a $1 million liability policy that will cover all the amenities. Because the $1 million liability policy will argue off anything. You know people are going to walk, they've been doing it, you've established a precedence, and that's no secret. So why not let them walk when there is no open golfing, at the very least?
I'm going to address that last question. First of all, it's disrespectful to have walkers when golfers are playing. I've watched that and personally observed that. I've had a few discussions with children who were unsupervised and their parents regarding the destruction of the ability of a golfer to hit off the tee box or hit a second or even a putt, with kids running around and their parents not really supervising. So we're not going to put up with that. That's why they have to come in to the pro shop, all the golfers. But now we've got a situation where there is a group of folks who formed the golf course committee who recommended these guidelines based on the last 50 plus years that Cherokee Village has had at least one golf course. And I know most of them. And I think we have a reasonable set here. However, what I do believe is that it needs to go back to the golf course committee. I like the idea of being able to have people who are golfers attend the next golf course committee and register the same comments that we've heard today so that we can come back to this group if need be. Now, that's my thought. Just one commissioner, the others get a chance to say, hey, Ron, you're all wet, or yeah, that's a good idea. Mark, please, hang on.
To address what she said, as far as paying for all the amenities, and you still have to pay. We have to, if you have we have a swimming pool, everybody's paid for that amenity through our fees, but you still have to pay a fee to go out and use the pool. We just had somebody try that. Yes, you do. You are not supposed to.
Fulton County doesn't have a swimming pool.
Who has a swimming pool?
Fulton County doesn't have a swimming pool. Fulton County doesn't
Cherokee
have
Village has a
water
swimming
trail.
pool.
The
Cherokee,
closest
excuse me, ma'am, I'm talking. Ma'am, please, I have the floor. Cherokee Village, as a city, has a swimming pool, and it is paid by all the amenities, with the assessments from everybody here.
Right. So
You still have to pay. Every one of us has to pay to go in and use that pool, just like you have to pay to use the golf courses. Just after when we go to Omaha to play pickleball, I have to pay either a yearly fee or a daily fee to play pickleball when I go to Omaha, which is in Fulton County. So I do have to pay for every amenity that Cherokee Village has to use it, on top of assessments that we already have. So the golf course is no different from any other amenity we have. And as far as liability insurances, do we not, when you get these memberships and stuff, do we not have waivers and stuff like that already? Do we need liability insurance?
Well, we do have liability insurance, of course,
So where do you
and
have
I'll check, but I even believe it's more than $1 million with the policy. And if you purchase a membership or you go to the pro shop or golf shop and sign in as a guest, you automatically sign a waiver. But if we're saying that our rule is, like they're saying, the golf shop will be closed, so walkers will not be registering at the golf shop. They will not be signing waivers because they're
There's no one to
not a
sign.
member. They're just freely going on the course. So that would not apply in that particular case.
So we would be held liable if we let them go on the course after 6 o'clock.
Even if we have these signs.
Even if we have this, there's still going to be.
Regardless,
Yeah.
you know, it's just whether or not
Yeah,
we're protecting ourselves.
Can I
So
offer
the
maybe,
sign,
this would be somewhat of a compromise between the golfers and the walkers. But I don't think it's either, open all the trails for all 18 holes to the walkers at the same time. What if we did something like this, is that you can allow walkers in the morning, pro shop opens, so that means 7 or 7:30, every time it is. But that they would only, you basically would close down the back during the morning hours. It wouldn't, the back nine wouldn't be open to golfers until the pro shop opens. So for those that come out early, they can start on the first hole, start playing. You don't have to worry about walkers. The walkers use the back nine in the morning for walking up until the clubhouse opens. And in the evening, close the front nine once the pro shop closes. As the front nine is closed, and yes, walkers can use that front nine from now till dark. But allowing the golfers to have at least 9 holes that you can finish their playing. And again, I think once you kind of get in the mindset of, okay, well, I just need to know that I need to be done with the front nine by the time the clubhouse closes, then I can play all along the back. I mean, that might be a solution to still play.
That's why we asked that you attend a meeting of the golf course committee and make certain that these comments are, if you will, at least read, if you were read into their minutes and brought back to the commission. These could easily be changed. And what we start today could be changed in 2 months. You understand that, right? These are what we're trying to do to improve the operation of our facilities, the golf courses in particular, so that we had at least a process. I did know about I believe there's a term, Nancy, for this umbrella policy that we have for all our amenities, which is pretty significant. I think it's at least $10 million, if I
I
remember.
don't think it's that much.
Is it? No?
Yeah, I'm not going to quote, but it's not that much. It's more than a million, but it's nowhere close to 10. But let me say this as well, Mr. Page, I know you're no longer a part of that committee. Our golf committee is a committee that's been put together of volunteers who want to help us with our golf tournaments. It is not a committee that has made decisions or is allowing people to come to a meeting and voice their opinions and their frustration. That's what this meeting is for. I'm sorry. Our golf committee has made recommendations, and they've come and spoke as to what their recommendations are. But sending someone back to the committee to argue with the committee members is not what our committee is about. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I was on that committee when it was in fact a committee that made recommendations like that, because I presented it at an SID general meeting. So
we are making recommendations, Mr. Page. I'm not saying that the people in our committee have not put input into what we suggested, but it's not a committee where we keep minutes of the meeting and we have people on an agenda that come in and speak. That's what this meeting is.
Tony, any other comments?
Well, like I said, as long as it says about the walking and we can't pin down, like you said, the hours, I can't be in favor.
Susan?
I don't have anything to say.
David?
I think we need to talk to our lawyers about it.
Yes.
So, then, in a point of order, we could table this until a future meeting, even though we thought we had solutions already defined a month ago, and we were just really making some minor changes at this point. So I would recommend that we table this until the July meeting.
Do we need to rescind the motion?
We
Do we
probably
have a
need
motion
to
there?
rescind the
Yeah.
motion.
I withdraw my motion.
The golf,
Thank you.
He
rescind the motion. David read the rules,
I withdraw my motion.
And he had a motion he rescinded.
so we have to rescind it.
There
Needs
was
somebody.
there was no second, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate all of the comments and the pointed discussions by the individuals in the audience today to help us as we do our very best to look out for the Cherokee Village residents here. eclipse information. Betsy, you want to talk a little bit about eclipses?
We had set the last few meetings that we would just continue to update where Mr. Page, Ms. Jett, and I are all on the Eclipse Task Force. I think right now we're at a stage from our last meeting where it is a tri-county, Izard County, Fulton County, Sharp County, and we're looking into those counties and their A&Ps to see if we can put together some type of budget. I think that as far as SID is concerned, what we've agreed is that we want to work with the city on putting on some kind of amazing events before, during, and after the eclipse, and that we wanted to have an impact that people will return to come back and vacation with us after the eclipse, so for years to come. We're just trying to have a opportunity for them to have events to do before, during, and after to kind of keep them here for more than just that window of the eclipse.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. A little bit additional, I know the B&B people, bed and breakfast folks, who are already getting reservations for April 8th when we expect to have the eclipse. And if you're a property owner and you want to see the most amazing eclipse in my lifetime, I think, please make sure that your relationships, your families, your friends that are maybe coming to visit, come by the SID office if need be, to use any of our amenities to make sure that we at least have a way to understand just how many people we have. And I know we're working hard to find places for people to observe, but just please be thinking about that for your family. This is going to be an amazing event. At that point, I don't believe we have any new business to discuss today. Let's go ahead and, Betsy, if you're prepared, your update would be most appreciated.
Thank you, thank you. I hope all of you have had an opportunity to visit the pool at Thunderbird. We were able to meet our deadline and open up on the Saturday before Memorial Day. I had hoped it would be Friday, but we did make it on Saturday. As of today, we have calculated down to every nail, screw, brace, bracket, planter, shade source, everything. Our final what we spent was $363,642.92. So I believe we stayed within the budget that we quoted with the 10% incidentals. That affected, we were able to correct our drainage issues that we were having with the water over the walls into the pool area. I believe that I'm very happy with our end result with what we've had with that. Our update on our Omaha roof, we did have some conversations and meetings with them about different materials, possibility of shopping more local. The end result is how we came to the metal and the trusses and the bracing that is being purchased is that we are going through, or they are using a basebowl for the truss company, which is allowing them the use of the crane, which is a substantial decrease in what the amount of their bid is compared to others because of the cost of renting a crane and setting those trusses. One of the other things that we discussed with them was the product, the metal that they use, and they don't use a metal, or locally we don't offer the metal that they use. And a lot of that has to do with the side of our building where those Mansford shingles are, is they've got to have a metal that will be able to bend and still cover the warranty that we're requesting. So it was a different product, it's a little bit thicker metal, and it still will hold the shape and everything that we need. So in all honesty, the contract was only signed in the last 7 days. I expect over the next 2 weeks that the trusses and the materials will be delivered, and they've told us from start to finish, they should be able to complete in about a week. So So that's going to be amazing to get that kind of work done and get done that quickly. Update on Base Heart and the campground. We have completed our repairs there. We had to upgrade our service there to a 400 amp unit. We now have 15 of the 50, 30, 20 breakers for our most up-to-date RVs of today. We were able to put in some rock and create some pads. We couldn't afford to do the concrete pads, but I think the rock pads will give us that aesthetic and define those camping spots. Right now, 8 of the 15 have a grill, have a picnic table, have a fire pit source, and here pretty quickly we'll have the remainder of them with the grills and the fire pits. That job ended us at $43,000, which included the electrical, the lumber for the picnic tables, and all the materials included. That also stayed right within our budget that we had proposed to spend. I want to update, I spoke at the city council meeting on the 15th for Cherokee Village as a representative of Sid and as a representative of myself. There's been a lot of conversation, since the lawsuit had happened. There's been a lot of division. I think 3 years of going through the settlement and the lawsuit kind of pitted people on different sides. I have proposed for Sid, for myself, for my employees, that we want to work with Cherokee Village. We want to, hand in hand, make this a better place for everyone to live. Our amenities mean nothing without the support of the village, and our amenities mean everything to the village, is building a place where people want to vacation and want to come and live and spend their money. So I hope that if you have the opportunity to see that video, or if you were there and able to witness it yourself, that you understand and see the passion that I have for this village and the direction that I would like to see for us to go. And we're asking, all of us are asking for your support. We didn't create the problem. We weren't here as part of the settlement. We're just picking up the pieces and trying to move forward and make our community a place that we can all be proud of. I don't have anything else to report other than the reason Mr. Kaiser isn't here is because that new motor that was approved at the special meeting is being installed on the lake safety boat as we speak. It is a 70 horsepower 4-stroke Yamaha, and we hope to be throwing some wake up tomorrow.
Can I ask can you update on, I noticed something really cool over at Thunderbird Center, the new rec center. Could you talk about that?
It's not really the new rec center.
Well,
it's kind of the old rec center.
It's a new looking rec center. It looks really
nice. So the upper building, for anyone that grew up here or lived here, the rec center really was a rec center. We could go into the upper building and the back wall was lined in pinball machines. There was a jukebox, there was a pool table, a ping pong table, and when the lifeguards took their breaks, that's where the kids went. If it rained outside, we didn't leave the pool. We went up there and played. That was a place for us to gather. So fortunately, we purchased a used pool table. It's a bar table for $1. You can play as much pool as you want, or $1 a game, I should say. We've got a ping pong table up there. We've got some soft tip darts. I think it's a great location for some of our teenagers to have parties or, gatherings to give them some place to go that's different.
Or family get-togethers.
Putt golf, that's right, family get-togethers,
So
family reunions.
Does it cost, besides the pool table, does it cost anything for them to use it?
If they want to have it exclusively,
Yeah,
or
I'm
after
just saying
7 o'clock, we're going to say $25 an hour. So if you had a child that wanted to have a birthday party and they're at the pool, they could go up for $25. We'll close it off and there's a place for them to have cake and ice cream and do their thing.
What about while the pool's open and stuff, does it cost anything to play any of the other games besides the pool? Just go up and ask for it?
Just go up, open, the doors are open. When we were kids, they were always open. The breeze blew through and that was a fun place to hang out. So we're hoping that this will be something that people will get interested in. If anybody wants to rent it in the evening after the pool closes, we can do that as well. We'll have an attendant that would be there, and it would be the same, $25 an hour, pays for the attendant. It will pay for the extra utilities. Bring your own beverages and enjoy coming up and playing some pool, hanging out. Yay! And rent this place too.
Do we need to talk about these?
Sorry?
Now that we got Escalante Park, what's on the playground equipment that's going to be installed?
Well, with Escalante Park is, still sitting there unused, unutilized, and the space that we need to be able to put a playground there, as we had a person who has donated the funds to do that. We don't have the funds in our hand, but I have spoken with her, and she is still willing to donate those funds. The problem is what she wants to purchase is going to leave us responsible for around $12,000 and cutting some trees, the ground prep that has to be down underneath the playground, and kind of forming an area big enough to help to hold that equipment. I asked her, would she still be willing to donate that and let us put it at Thunderbird? The playground equipment at Thunderbird is so old. It's already got some flat places there. There's already places where the trees are cleared out. We could probably use our inmates and box us in the spot that would be required for the equipment, and then we would be looking at maybe doing something to get the ground cover in there, and she's open to it. She is very, very much just wants to have something that the kids can do and a place that they can go. Our biggest thing with that would be is that it's only open from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So if we spend that kind of money, we need to find a way to make it accessible for more times during the year.
And I will say this, when we first started this project, I told Betsy that I would see if I could do something about getting local school teachers involved. And then all through the school year, the teachers and the past school board members that I've spoken with have all said, I'm busy right now. And then in April of this year, I just folded that tent up and I just haven't done anything since April. But a couple of them talked about when we could get together planning after school programs out there at Escalante.
Tutoring.
Reading, some feeding. The food bank in North Central Arkansas has got a feeding program that we could be part of. But I will tell you that I just dropped the ball in April.
That's okay, we've been busy.
So with using Thunderbird playground area, we're just talking about having a problem with the access after and is there a way that we can solve that maybe?
Well, I mean, you can go all the way down around the backside of the lake and then right back up. So it's a little hard to kind of take that spot off, but
Or if we
I
just,
don't
is there a way
know.
we can put a gate or another gate somewhere in there?
Might be.
And that way leave it accessible
Might
during the other
be.
times?
I mean,
Something to look at.
I think it's worth looking at, but she is at least open to looking at other locations.
Okay.
And we had thought what we took out of Thunderbird, maybe it moves to Base Park. There's a little sorry swing over there that might could have a slide or something added to it.
Take that old stuff over there and then put the new
Maybe.
stuff in.
Maybe.
Yeah. Try to recycle.
Okay.
Upcycle. There you go.
I do not have anything further, although we do have potential to talk about the rules and regulations for our 7 lakes. I'm not sure we're prepared for that today. It's not on our agenda.
Oh, okay. So I gave you a copy of that. This was something that was previously on our agenda. And when we talked about this, we talked about at that time maybe using constables and things like this. I brought this back up because these are already the rules and regulations that y'all have already approved. What I'd like to do is put this in the hands of lake safety so that when they do approach a boat that is speeding or doesn't have a sticker or don't have life preservers, that they can hand them something and say, here's a violation letter. And then we can also have a copy of it so that we know who our repeat violators are. it opens conversation. I think it makes it more official if Lake Safety pops up and says, hey, what's your name, sir? Can I get your information? The reason I stopped you today is because of one of these things. Let me give you a copy of it. Let's talk about it. And maybe that will help educate our folks on the lake. It was awful Saturday.
It's been awful since Memorial.
Awful Saturday. And
Well,
another problem we're having is that we need to get our rules and regulations in the hands of Mid-Lake Marina. If they're going to rent boats, then those people need to sign the same rules and regulations and know what the rules are before they get to leave the
Okay,
marina.
so my question, I know there's a big sign out there with some rules and regulations. They're not the same as these right here.
These are more detailed.
Okay.
So
there
when they
is
pick
a
up a
sign.
boat sticker, they are
So Mid-Lake
signing.
Marina does not give them a copy of rules when they rent them boats.
That's
What
right.
about those who come get stickers, even the guest stickers or something? They get a copy, right? So they know when they get their guest pass.
Not if they get a guest pass, because
Okay,
I
that's
don't know
fine.
if they're going to rent a boat in the lake or not, but when they get a guest sticker
Guest sticker for their boat. That's what I mean.
Any person, a kayak,
Right.
not motorized or motorized,
They get a
they
list of
get
these rules.
this.
So they know the rules when they're out there.
Yes, they're
Okay.
signing one,
This-
we're keeping it, they're taking a copy with it.
So when you do witness, if you witness one, what would be the procedure for calling in an infraction if you see
For-
something?
for lake safety?
For lake safety or getting a hold of lake safety.
For getting a hold of.
Well, let's
like,
say I live on the Thunderbird.
Right.
And we saw it all weekend long, past 2 weekends, starting Memorial Day weekend. And as David and I both try to tell people, get their registration number or take a picture or something, you know, if you can. It's hard to sometimes, but sometimes you can, especially once they stop. Who do I then report that to? Who do I give that to? Call the office when it's open?
Well, I would say if they're taking pictures or get that kind of information, if they'll just email that stuff to us, we can
Okay.
follow up and identify who they are.
Right.
You know, if y'all are seeing something as commissioners going on, then shoot me a text with, you know, this boat this or this boat that. We do have one person with lake safety that I communicate with instead of us all trying to communicate with different people and them trying to receive direction from 5 commissioners. So this was the easiest way so far.
So if somebody sees something and they can call or text me or email me or whatever, and then I can shoot it to you and then you can get hold of lake safety.
But you don't need to do anything about it. I mean,
No, I understand. That's why I say I'm going to her. I know.
And I have people that send it to me on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
You know, they send me videos, I get pictures.
Okay.
I mean, any way they want to communicate with us to let us know that we can follow up. And that's where this will help us to be able to say, you've been warned. You've had multiple violations. We keep talking about the same things.
Right.
and it might get easier this weekend when we get the boat in the water.
Yeah, well, the boat being out there is going to make a world of difference because there's somebody out there actually that they're seeing and going, oh, we got somebody out there stopping it. But they didn't see lake safety out there and they did whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And it was chaos, but, you know.
Correct. I agree.
Okay.
That should adequately cover what you were concerned about. Thank you, Susan. I know that I had this, but I didn't have it on my agenda, so really wasn't going to go there until we had our vote on the water, so to speak. And I know.
Which might be this
afternoon. All the people that have been working on our lake safety boat. We have a young, I believe his name is Dan, has done phenomenal with what he could do until we just ran into the problem of we absolutely had to buy a new motor. So please understand that we are trying to spend your money that you provide to SID the most efficient and effective way possible. And with that, we open the floor again for 3-minute comments. Please, if you're going to make a comment, state your name, your address. No comments. In that case,
I need executive session.
you need an executive session. There's a
Possible.
request by our general manager for executive session.
For
Discuss
employment.
possible employment.
So it's an employee issue, and there's a official way I'm supposed to say that. I think I messed it up. It says, let me see, we just had our FOA help says this body is voting to retire into executive session to consider the employment of an employee. We will convene a public session following the executive session to present or any vote that we have or action arrive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, I really do.
It won't be but a few minutes, I promise. It'll be a quick conversation.
Thank you.
You waited for us. She needs a ride. She's not loyal. She needs a ride.
She needs a ride.
Some of the rest of it.
Turn your mic, oh, you got it.
Who, mine?
No, we don't need to talk anymore. We're in the
Thank you
middle of
all
something,
for-
I'll be right with you.
We're almost done over here. Just fix it.
We're back in session after our executive session, and we had a discussion about employee policies. We've seen a violation of one of the employees perhaps, so we want to make sure that we are in sync on where to go forward. Therefore, after discussion, we provided direction to our general manager on what we'd like to do to move forward.
Okay, the problem is there should be a vote, because you can't make a decision in executive session, but you can make it out of executive session. That's when it becomes legal. So you gotta vote on where to go.
And you're right, Peter, that is in Arkansas Municipal League guide. I'm sorry.
Saying that we told her to do that.
Yeah. Based on what I just said, would someone please make a motion about what we decided to do?
So
with our
a
meeting?
motion, I'll make a motion to give our general manager discretion to act on
Yes.
our suggestions,
On our recommendations.
on our
We
recommendations.
have a motion by Ms. Jett on what we would like our general manager, the actions we'd like our general manager to take for employees. Is there a second?
Second. Go ahead.
Second by Mr. Tony and Mr. David. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then let's move forward with
I
that.
make
Thank
a
you.
motion, we adjourn.
I second it.